Hello everyone, I'm Blanche Quidlat from BSH A2A. So our topic is all about African art, and I will discuss to you, together with my group mates, Pascua Arlyn and Renojo Vincent, what's behind African art. So let's start. So what is African art? African art is the visual arts of native Africa, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, including such media as sculpture, painting, pottery, rock art, textile, mask, personal decoration, and jewelry. Let's proceed to the historical background of African art. African art history presents a world heritage we need to find a way to preserve. African art history has played a significant role in shaping the culture and history of the world. The origins of African art history lie long before recorded history, preserved in the obscurity of time. The earliest prehistoric art in Africa is believed to be rock art, which consisted of engraving rocks. This art form is considered to have developed in the southern areas of the continent. As you can see in the background, the animals and the human, that is an example of rock art. Rock art is centuries old, while shell beads fashioned for a necklace have been recovered in a cave in the furthest reach of the southern peninsula of South Africa that are 75,000 years old. African rock paintings and engravings were curiously discovered earlier than European ones, those in the southern Africa as early as the mid-18th century, those in the north in 1847 when they were found by a group of French soldiers who reported engravings of elephants, lions, antelope, bovids, ostriches, gazelles, and human beings armed with the bows and arrows. Please look at the picture below. And also, as we know from human evolutionary science that modern Homo sapiens began in Africa, it stands to reason, therefore, that Africa would contain both the oldest and the greatest amount of rock art on this planet. While the purpose of these drawings will never be known, the fact that they were made at all indicates their significance to the cultures that produced them, given that early humans were hunter-gatherers who did not stay in one place for long. The whole of Africa was influenced by art depicting nature, both real and abstract, created by its many cultures, from the Egyptians in the north and craft makers in the south over the millennia. You can observe the variety of arts given by the African. It is very unique, right? Since they are based mainly on the art of nature. Art of nature is the best, and it also has meaning and yet are also pleasing to the eyes. That is how special African art.
The primary component of traditional African art is performance and assemblage. The combination of music, dance, dress, and bodily ornamentation, as well as sculpture and mask, is frequently what imparts both significance and dynamism to individual art objects. So, as we can see, it's been said that the primary component of traditional African art is all about performance and assemblage. So, what is assemblage? It is collecting of things or people. Then, the combinations are frequently what imparts both significance and dynamism to individual art objects. So, if we say significance, it is the quality of being worthy or importance. And if we talk about dynamism, it is the quality of being characterized by a vigorous activity and progress, or it is being successful. So here are a few of the famous artists of African art. First is Sungi Mlengea, Tanzania, in 1991. So, Mlengea portrays black women and their stories, while placing a particular emphasis on how contemporary women are making their mark on history. The white space, which is this one, that looks like dress that has been worn by black women, we see throughout her work symbolizes her subjects' desire for freedom to pursue their full potential without the limitations put in place by harmful cultural and social norms. So, meaning kining puti nga murag ginasuot sa black women, muna siya tong space na siya nga kining ga-portray na siya sa kining sa black women's desire for freedom nga ma-pursue nila ilang full potential nga wala bitaw kining limitations nga ginabutang sa ila nga wala limitations nga ginahatag sa ila. The next famous artist of African art is Yolanda Mazwana, a South African in 1996. Yolanda Mazwana creates expressive narrative paintings that delved into mental illness, phobias, and popular cultures, just like what we saw in this picture. Then, the last famous artist of African art is Nathalie Babikoro, a Gabonese 1985. This is an example of her work. She uses her work to dissect, critique, and create new dialogues around topics such as race, colonialism, migration, gender, identity, modernism, and more.
Mark Vincent Renojo, one of the reporter of this group. African art has many characteristics, some of which include creative expressionism over realism. So let's define expressionism. Expressionism refers to art in which the image of reality is distorted in order to make it expressive of the artist's inner feelings or ideas. Realism is the art of generally the attempt to represent subject matter truthfully in a naturalistic manner. The prevalence of images and sculpture of the human figure, larger focus on sculpture rather than painting, abstract themes and representations, melding visual and performing arts, such as in the case of mass and non-linear scaling. Among the best-known examples of traditional African art are the striking masks produced by many cultures across the continents. One of these examples are Zambal masks of the Guro culture, Yoruba, Lulwa, Guma facial adornments. Wood is the best-known medium of African sculpture. Many others are employed: copper alloys, iron, ivory, pottery, unfired clay, and frequently stone. One of these examples is ebony carving by Makundi people, Jingbini Ate kung Ganis fantasy coffins by Chil, Chiwara Ududua at Iwunun by Bambara people. Terracotta pottery heads, the earliest known as sculptures, are the remarkable terracotta pottery heads, most of them fragments of figures from the Nok culture of Nigeria, are dated around 500 BC through 200 AD. That's all, thank you.